Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Joelle and this is Tall Hobbit Stitches. I feel like there needs to be like sparkly hands or something. Anyway, this is my crafting diary, also a gardening diary when I'm doing plant things. Today's project is not going to be a vlog of what I've been working on lately and what I'm planning to work on like I usually post. This is a one big project that I started working on in March and a little bit in April, and then I forgot about it, and then I worked a little bit more in September and October, and then didn't get around to editing the video until this week. Right now it's the end of December 2023, and I have the motivation, the momentum, the focus, the energy to edit this video, and all I had to do for the last couple of months was film an intro and an outro, and here we are. That's fine. I'm fine. I had a very strange year with mentally. I've mentioned that previously, but I felt like I was in a significant fog for most of the year, and my fatigue was really bad this year. So that will definitely be evident in the video clips that you will soon see. So extend me some grace, if you will. I lose the plot a couple of times and eventually get around to a conclusion. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, and let's get to it. Okay, so the project starts in 2013. I made a scarf. Well, I started making a Doctor Who scarf it grew. This is all Valley Yarns Northampton, which is one of my favorite yarns to use. It's garter stitch, just like the scarves, plural, the scarves from the TV show. I didn't match my colors exactly right. I sort of bought what I could find. And so once I finished this really long scarf, I had lots of leftover yarn, and I decided to make a sweater. So I made a stripy sweater where the yoke and the chest were stripy, and then I made it into a long tunic, which I'll talk about shortly. Me from March we'll talk about shortly. So the project was already made from leftovers, and I'm altering it, and then I will use that yarn for something else, and so I'll get an entirely new garment out of it. So it's like this batch of yarn is 3 knitting projects, and I love that. So yeah, I will hand you off to past me to talk about the sweater in question. So when I made the sweater in 2018, early 2019, my silhouette at the time was very conical for my winter wardrobe. I was wearing a lot of jersey knit t-shirt dresses and my usual petticoats that you've seen here before, but it was all very conical. And now my wardrobe is still fitted through the shoulders and chest, just like my old wardrobe, but the bulk of the volume, it starts at my waist, and so all of my dresses have gathered skirt waists, and they're all just rectangles. So when I wear the sweater is tunic length. You can't see from this angle, it has me cropped off, but it is fingertip length, and it's A-line, just like my old wardrobe silhouette. And so when I move, it sort of, I don't know, the middle of the sweater, the middle of my outfit moves as one unit, and it's really uncomfortable. And I like a lot more, I call the silhouette that I wear now a little bit more jellyfish. It's sort of solid at the top, and then the bottom can do whatever it needs to do. But it's too limiting. And so my plan for it is to crop it and re-knit a waistband, probably a hem of probably a 2x2 rib. I haven't quite decided yet. I've been going back and forth between a stockinette folded over and stitched down waistband, But I think I'm going to go with a ribbed hem on this. I keep saying waistband, a ribbed hem on the sweater. So I'm going to cut it, and I'll probably put in a lifeline first so it's easy to pick up the stitches. Rip all the yarn back and save it because I'll need to use that same yarn for knitting the hem. But I'm going to have to steam it and to get all the, because it looks like ramen soup when you're done with, or ramen noodles when you unwind it. So I need to steam that out. And then I also want to shorten the sleeves because I don't really like full length sleeves anymore. I like all of my winter dresses are all 3/4 length sleeves. So my plan for this, it's a little bit trickier than ripping this back and knitting on a hem. This one, because the stitch count changes from here to here, so I'm going to cut probably somewhere in the middle of this dark gray stripe. I'm going to put in a lifeline here, and then I will knit sleeve down, top down on the sleeve, and I will do some math and figure out what I have to do for decreases there to get the stitch count to match, and then I'm going to graft these sleeves. So this part of the sleeve I'm going to keep as is, and it's going to just move up. And I hope that the length of my sleeve will fall probably around here, which would match up pretty well with my 3/4 length sleeve dresses. When I have them long sleeves, when I have the sleeves long like they are, I didn't decrease enough stitches for one, but I also didn't use a smaller needle, which I should have sized down for my needles. And as a result, my ribbed cuff is very flappy floppy. And that's really annoying. And they're all stretched out because I fidget with them and I catch them on things, on door handles and drawer pulls, and it's just really annoying. I also just don't like wearing 3/4. I don't like wearing full length sleeves because my temperature fluctuates, and so I'm constantly pushing these up and pulling them down. And if I have to wash my hands, it's just annoying. I love having 3/4 length sleeves. I'm warm enough, and when I get cold, I just put on arm warmers that I can take off really easily. Right, so that's the plan for this. I feel like I've just talked really fast with a lot of information. I'm cropping it. I'm shortening the sleeves. Oh, right, the neckband. When I made this in 2018, it was my first sweater. I didn't anticipate, though I knit a gauge swatch and did all my math right and everything, I didn't anticipate how the weight of the sweater would stretch out everything. And also, this is a top-down raglan, and there's a lot of stretch. When you do a sweater and you make your panels and you seam them together, there's a lot more structure. And with a top-down raglan, there's a lot of stretch and a lot of ease that happens as the weight of the sweater pulls itself down. And so I didn't accommodate for that because I just didn't know better. I may or may not be re-knitting the neckband. I also, when I did it, I didn't know that you have to pick up like 25 to 30% fewer stitches on a neckband. It just said pick up neckband stitches. The pattern that I used, well, I kind of mashed together some patterns, but none of the patterns that I looked at for reference said anything about what a percentage of stitches you should pick up. And I learned that by talking to other knitters and asking for help. So I may or may not be redoing the neckband because it used to be just a V-neck and now it's this giant scoopy situation with a slight point. Anyway, okay. I hope that's clear about what my plan is. So the next step is to pick up my lifelines with darning needle and waste yarn. And I'll do one here on both sleeves, and then one here, and then I'll rip out the yarn and then see what I should do. Also, another thing that I have to consider is that once I'm going to do the sleeves first and then try that on and see how it works. And then once I rip back the tunic length portion and crop it and save that yarn, I am going to block the whole rest of the sweater because I think I might recover some of that, it might not shrink, but it might not be stretched out so much. So I guess, yeah, sort of shrink. But I think having the weight of the bottom part of the sweater taken away is going to help the sweater be a little bit more the shape that it was originally. That's my theory. So before I knit the waistband on, I would hate to knit the waistband on and then end up with it something being too cropped because it, rebounds on itself. Right. Okay. That is the project. That was a lot of words to talk about something pretty simple. Okay. Here is the sweater as it is now. This is almost, I think, 18 inches or so of knitting that I'm going to be undoing. I will use the yarn for something else, but there you go. There's a better look at it. It is now March 14th. Happy Pie Day. I am, in fact, wearing my pie shawl. I'm going to bring it in front of the camera. Pie shawl. Happy Pie Day, everybody, except it's too warm in here right now, so I took it off. Right, so I am starting my sweater alteration project a week or so earlier than I expected because I need this dark gray yarn for another project that I will talk about in another video. The short version is that the yarn I need for the other project needs to be steekable, which means it needs to be non-superwash, and I wanted to do a version of it in my leftover yarn before I do one in my hand spun. And this yarn is non-superwash, and all of my leftover yarn is superwash. So, and I don't keep a very big stash, so I can't go stash diving. So I need this yarn. The first thing I'm going to do, like I said in the intro, is pick up all of the stitches on the lower red stripe, and then I will cut my bind off here and start unraveling, and I will show you bits and pieces of that along the way. First, I will show you picking up stitches, I guess, as if, I don't know, maybe you don't know how to do that, but I'll show you. Okay, I had to pause and think about it for a minute because I did this top down, so the stitches look a tiny bit different. So I've got 2 legs of the stitch right here. So what I'm going to be doing is picking up one, putting my needle over the next one, and picking up that. So I'm doing an over under all the way around, being careful not to get my needle into the yarn on the underside of the sweater so I don't pick up both sides of the sweater. So I'm just going to do this, and then I pull my yarn through, leave myself a little tail, and then I do over under. Did you know that you can zoom in on YouTube? I just realized this the other day. I was informed. So if you want to take a close look about what I'm doing with my needle here, you can zoom in on the yarn. Right, so I'll be doing that all the way around, and so I will see you when I'm finished. Okie dokie, I've got all of my stitches on the waist yarn and I'm ready to start unraveling. I just did a little knot here, and yeah, so I'm ready to start unraveling now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because I'm going to cut it. Okay, snips acquired. Now I'm going to just cut the bind off edge. I tried looking for where my actual end was, where I wove in my end, and I can't find it. The yarn is very pilled. I wore it for 2 years pretty heartily through the cold weather, and it's very much showing its wear on the bottom. Ooh, what's that? Oh, okay. I thought it was a bug. That freaked me out. It was a yarn pill combined with thread, so that's nice. Just gonna cut. I'll cut a little bit further down. I'm not going to be able to salvage all of the yarn anyway, so I just want to find a string to pull. There we go. It's a bit felted together. Let me work at it a little bit, and then, yeah, I'll work at it a bit off camera to get it unfelted, and then we can start unraveling. All right, I have started unraveling. I did it in fits and starts to start with because like I said, parts of it were felted together just from wear, and I pulled a little too hard on the felted parts and ripped the yarn. So I would still use these in some way, but I've got my little ball here. I'm just going to keep pulling and winding When I wind my balls, I like to wrap around 3 fingers, and that way, when I go to reposition it, it's not pulled very tight. So, usually hook it on my ring finger and then wrap it around all of those fingers there. So, yeah, we're just gonna pull and wind, and I'm going to do this while I listen to some podcasts. I will update you soon. Is it satisfying? Pulling off all of the little ramen noodle pieces here. I always love that. I have a solution for the noodly nature of the yarn, which I will talk about shortly. I will see you back here again when I am at the red line. Okay, see you soon. I have changed tactics. Instead of winding onto a ball, I am winding onto my niddy noddy, which is this device. I'm trying to keep it in frame. This is difficult. So you're winding around this wooden contraption, and I decided instead of rolling it and winding it into a ball and then scanning it up like this, I would save myself a step and just unravel directly onto the niddy noddy. Yeah, I thought, for some reason, I thought this was going to be more cumbersome and more difficult to pick up and put down if I have to unstick some of the felted part. I thought setting this down and picking it up would be awkward, but it's not. It's going just fine. So I'm going to continue on with this and check in with you once I've got all of the gray unraveled. Okay, checking in around the halfway point. This is what it looks like when it comes off the niddy noddy. It just coils right back up, and it's just so cute. It makes me think of doll hair, you know? When I was a teenager, my mom and I used to make dolls, and we would take a wooden dowel and we would wrap yarn around the wooden dowel really tightly and then soak those in water and then dry them in the oven at a low temperature. And this reminds me of that. And then we would sew it and glue it down onto the doll's head. But look how cute. Nice and springy. Anyway, but back on track, I have done about, this is about one skein worth, and then this was a partial skein that I've already twisted up into a small little hank. So looks like I have about one more skeins worth to unwind, and then I will show you how I'm going to get rid of the ramen. All right, I have unwound all of the charcoal gray yarn. I've got all of my red stitches on this waste yarn. And I have 2 full balls of the gray yarn, and I think this is about a half. I don't remember if I said before what the yarn was. This is Valley Yarns Northampton. You get it from yarn.com webs. And yeah, I am, you can probably tell by my voice that I am out of steam for the day. That is one of the ways that my fatigue shows up. It shows up first in my voice. Yeah, so I am going to, wow, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, fatigue brain. Anyway, right. So the way I'm going to deal with the crinkly noodle effect from having unwound all the yarn, unraveled the yarn, I am going to soak it in a warm water bath with a little bit of wool wash, and I'll let that soak for probably a few hours while I lay down and recuperate. And then I will roll out the yarn in some towels to get most of the water out, and then I will hang it to dry, and I will reskein it after that. Okay, so I will check in again after they've had their bath, and I will let you know how it goes. Hello, it's September now, the end of September, and I completely forgot about this sweater project that you've just seen me start in March. I very shortly after I filmed those bits, I washed the wool, maybe in early April, I think it was. So for me, that's very shortly after. So I washed the wool in April and hung it to dry and had it all hanged up and twisted up and put into storage so that I could work on this project very soon after that. So it would be ready for fall. Well, I only just thought of it the other day when I was filming my regular September video, and I found a whole bunch of video clips, and I watched them all, and I remembered that I had thought about getting started, but I didn't remember that I had actually filmed so much. So the project was further along than I had remembered. So now, this week, I have taken it out, assessed it, and I will show you what I've got up to. I realized when I went through my video clips and while I was winding up the balls of washed yarn to use, I stored it in just a gentle twist, but I want it wound up in balls for using. And so, or cakes, balls, cakes, I don't know. Anyway, I wound them up, and then I realized I didn't actually film what the yarn looked like after washing, but that's okay. It worked. That's all you really need to know. Let's see, where are we? I will just show you on the sweater. Yeah, okay. Here is my sweater now. What I worked on this week, I decided after all to unpick that really baggy V-neck and re-knit it with a proper decrease. As you can see, it is rippling pretty badly around there on the back. And I know this is probably knitter's famous last words, but I'm going to see if that's going to block out rather than redo the neckline. Again, what I probably should have done was a 1x1 rib instead of a 2x2. And I'm not really happy with my bind off, but also I'm really don't feel like unpicking it and knitting it again unless I absolutely have to. So what I'm going to do is I have a little towel and I'm going to get it damp and lay it on here and see if I can't steam this part to relax it. I think possible. So I picked up, well, I knit when I picked up all the stitches, and then I did a decrease round, and I knit 3 and then knit 2 together all the way around, and then I started the ribbing. I don't know if that is the correct thing to do, but that is what I did. And it's, now that I'm looking at this, it's not neatly picked up. Whatever. Now I'm second guessing myself. I'm still going to try to steam it and see if that works out really well or not. And you can see here I have separated the sleeve yarn. Wow, I sort of forgot my words there for a minute. I have I cut the sleeve. I've got them right over here. All right. I cut the sleeve and then unpicked all of this bit, and then I will pick up these stitches, do some math, as I probably mentioned before. I'm going to count these stitches, count those stitches, see how many I have to decrease for this underarm angle, and then I will graft them together. That is my plan, and these are going to end up, they were about, I think, that much there, and I'm going to probably knit that much. So we shall see, because I do want these to be 3/4 length. I did decide that, and I am leaving on the original cuffs, even though they are really wide and I didn't do them right. Oh, see, this is a 1x1 rib. I should have done that on the neckline. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, so I will do the hem in a 1x1 rib. I think I started doing it in a 2x2, but I only just got started there. So I did one round in, here's the yarn. This is that dark charcoal gray. This is the yarn that you saw me unwind from the lower body of the sweater. and I washed it. So you can see it does look worn. You know, there's some thick, thin spots where it got compressed. I mean, I knit this sweater in 2018. This is 2023 now, so it's been a while. Anyway, but the yarn still looks really good. It's still quite bouncy. And I knit a single round of that color and then started a 2x2 rib. But now I'm gonna do a 1x1 after all. So that's where this sweater is right now at the end of September. I'm gonna steam this out and then leave it for a little bit because I have some other projects on the go, but I promise I will not forget about it for so many months like I did earlier this year. All right, I've got a damp towel on here, and as you can see the steam coming off of it, I have already started. And I've already checked on it and it's looking really good, but I'm going to do another round of steaming. So my iron is fairly hot and it's the towel that's damp and the steam is not coming out of the iron. I learned this method from Arna and Carlos. Ooh, that was the cool steamy shot. So normally when you would do ribbing, you would not steam it because you want your ribbing to be elastic and scrunch up the knitting. But I don't actually need that on this neckline. What I need is it to ease a little bit. So I'm hoping that I'm not totally messing up by steaming the ribbing. But I do want it to relax a little bit. You just pick up and set down the iron. The weight of the iron is enough. A little bit more over here. Okay. We're going to let that steam a little bit, then I'll take the towel off and show you what it looks like under there. The sweater itself is still steaming and the wool pressing mat underneath. Now you can see that it has relaxed quite a lot. No more puckering, it lays flat. And this got a little bit more of a V shape, which I wanted. Not a whole V, but this is a really steep decrease line, so it's not going to be a nice shallow crew. It was a little deeper than I thought. This was my first sweater that I made in 2018. I mashed up a couple different patterns, so you know, I brought this on myself really. That's not exactly what I wanted, but I don't know if you noticed in the last video clip, this was all noodly, but it has relaxed now. I need to weave in that tail. So it is looking pretty good. I'll straighten out this stripe so it doesn't dry crooked. And I will leave this to cool completely, just like this. No pins or anything, because if it is going to shrink up, I want to be able to know that. Yeah, but it's looking good so far. It is now the 5th of October, late afternoon. I don't know if you can hear the neighbors running their leaf blowers. If you can, I'm sorry. I really needed to get this clip filmed. This is my progress so far. As you can see, the steaming worked really well on the neckband, and I've tried it on and it sits really well. I am very pleased with having redone the neckband. I'm really glad that I took the time to do that. And I shortened this gray panel. As you can see, my grafting isn't terribly good, so you can see the line where I grafted the stitches right about there. Yeah, I'm hoping most of that will steam out and relax a little bit, but we shall see if it doesn't. And I'm hoping that I made it 3/4 length. I tried it on and I wasn't sure how long to make it. I was going to do maybe 12 rows, and then I got into a groove and I ended up with 17. So I'm leaving it at that. I'm not going to redo it. So I still need to do this side, grafting it. I have knit this part. There are 14 rows here on this side and 2 on this side. And my grafting will make a row in the middle for 17 rows to match the other side. I may try to do that on camera. I did not bring out my tripod, and I don't think I can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't hold the phone with my left hand and do the grafting, but I might try to do some clip of that. We shall see. And then for the hem, I've done what I think is most of the hem. I might do a few more rounds. I'm not sure. I want to get the sleeve on. When I get that one reattached, I will try the whole thing on and then see if I need to add any more length. I would hate to make it too cropped because that would be kind of annoying to wear. But there we are. That is the update for the 5th of October. We're going camping this weekend, and I really want to wear this because it's going to be cool and rainy all day on Saturday. All right, see you next time. This is some of the yarn that I reclaimed from the sweater when it used to be tunic length, and I think I'm ready now to show you what I'm using it for. What do you think this is? It's a sweater vest. Can't you tell? It will be V-neck, and it's done with in the round with steeks. So there's a steek here, and that will eventually be cut, and that will be, these are the front panels. And then there's also steeks for the armholes. So yeah, I've never steeked before, and from what I've read, this is a really great project to learn from. And I have, it's called the Cutting Edge Vest, and I forgot to look up the designer so I could tell you. So I will just write that in the description, my apologies. And yeah, it's my first time steeking, and when I cast on, I was a little bit worried. But now that I am nearing the end, I'm actually really excited to give it a try. You have to steam the bejesus out of it, allegedly, before you cut it, and that way you make it all nice and firm, and then you cut, and then before it has a chance to de-steam, you fold things under and you stitch them down. That is, in theory, what it's going to be. And I'm just going to put on a ribbed hem. I still need to do another inch or so on the sides before I start the ribbing. And I have this plus 2 small, like, I don't know, walnut size balls of this yarn left. So I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out, but I think I also have some lighter gray and some navy blue that I can work with. This is just a test for me to see if I like this vest, and then and check it for size. I'm doing the straight size 5, no modifications. Yeah, okay. Hello, it is now the 16th of October. I have yarn on my mouth for some reason. So I did finish the sweater in time for the camping trip, but it was too hot that weekend, so I didn't wear it. And my goodness, these glasses are filthy. Right, so I did finish it for camping. I did not wear it for camping because it was far too warm, and I didn't film any of the finishing of it, and I haven't shown it finished yet, but I'm hoping to insert a picture here, or a video here, of the finished sweater. Here you go. We're in my bathroom right now, so I'll take you outside for a minute. The sun is bright even though it's overcast. I love the new length. It's so much more comfortable now. Okay, so I finished the vest. Well, I finished the knitting part of the vest. Well, I finished the knitting of the vest before the steeking, and then you do the neckband after it's steeked. And anyway, so that is now soaking in my bathroom sink, which is why we're in the bathroom right now in the first place. So yeah, let me show you that. Here is my vest soaking in the water. Some of the color is coming out of the yarn. Or maybe that's, I don't know when the last time I washed this sweater is, so I hope it's not dirt. That would be disgusting. Anyway, so just giving that a little gentle jostle. I've got that with some, this kind of wool wash, grapefruit pamplemousse. Yeah. I don't know how do you pronounce that? Eucalan? I say Eucalan. Anyway, it's good stuff. I've had this bottle for years. So, anywho, yeah, so that's my vest. I'll let that soak until the water cools down. Then I will take it out, smush it in some towels, and leave it to dry for a couple of days. So the next time you see me, we'll be ready for steeking. Hiya, it's December me again. I realized that even though I showed you a full view of the sweater on outside back in October, I didn't actually talk about what I like about the finished product. So I love it. Full stop, I think. Yes, I love it. I love how the neckline worked out. I'm so glad I took the time to do that. I love the length of the sleeves. It stops, you can see, right at my 3/4 length sleeve dress, sleeve hem, and I love how it stops right at the gathers for my dress, and I love everything about it. I have worn it so much this fall and early winter already, and I am very happy that I took the time this year to work on this project, even if it was really, was it my only garment this year apart from socks? I can't remember. If you've watched my videos more recently than I have, you will probably know that answer. My memory has just been all year. So, yeah, I love it. And here it is. Thank you for following along. And now it's back to October me with the vest. Steeking. Okay, it's time to steek. In truth, I've already done one armhole. I didn't want to do the first steek on camera. I was too nervous. Plus, I wanted to get the technique down before I even tried to explain what I was doing as I was doing it. So, if you've never steeked before, it's basically you knit a section of your garment that is designed to be cut. So this one has a line of purl stitches down the middle. That will be the line that I cut down. So with this pattern, you are supposed to steam it and steam it and steam it until it gets nice and stiff. And then you quickly cut down the line of stitches, your purl column, and then you fold it to the inside and whip stitch it down with thread. So I've got my thread ready. So I'm going to pause for a moment and thread up my needle. I'm using a length of thread about the length of my arm. I am using, I think it's polycotton. It's the all-purpose Coats & Clark black. No, it's 100% polyester. I don't have any natural fiber thread in black. I only have white. So you want to use a thread that matches. Now I'm going to do this off camera. Okay, needle is threaded. Just going to have that at the ready over there. And I've got my snips and my thimble. Okay, here we go. I don't know why I'm nervous. I've already done one. Yes? Okay. Right. Are you with me? Probably didn't need to film all of that hemming and hawing, but here we go. Okay, we ready? I've maneuvered my edge here to make sure that column of purl stitches is all along the edge. And you just press. I'm not pressing down very hard. I'm just letting the weight of the iron do its thing, and all of the steam. It is going to slightly discolor the yarn, I noticed. It gets quite a bit lighter. I don't know if that's coming across on camera. I don't know if it's necessary, but I am going to flip it over and do the other side. Let's see if that's still on camera. Just to make sure that it's really steamed well through. The instructions in this pattern are very clear, and they were not confusing at all. So I recommend this pattern for someone who is steeking for the first time like I am. And it was fun to knit too. Doing things all in one piece is my jam. Okay. Well, I'm as ready as I'm going to be. Let's see if I can get the first. Ow, that's hot. Steam is hot. So the way I did it before, oops, the way I did it on the other one was I put a finger in between here, and you can see the purl stitches a little better, and then you just dig in. And I used my thumb actually. And if you're using a nice woolly wool, it's not going to unravel at all. I am using a fairly soft wool, which means it does pill. That's the problem with using soft wool. It does tend to pill. Oops, I lost my column of purl stitches here. Ah, oh yeah, I remember. I accidentally forgot to purl on a couple of rows here, and I didn't feel like going back. Okay, we have successfully cut. And now, before I whip stitch anything down, you can see it's starting to relax and curl. So I am going to press that. I'm going to press it open, but I'm going to turn it inside out. Okay, inside out. I actually, on the first armhole that I did, I pressed, I cut, I pressed, I stitched one side, I pressed, and I stitched the other side. I found that really helpful. So you don't have to, the time is of the essence, but you don't really have to rush. If the yarn relaxes too much, it will start to curl, and that makes it a little bit difficult to fold over and stitch down. All right, so I'm going to do this side first. Fold it, and I found these clips to be really helpful in holding things in place while you stitch. They're not necessary, but I found them very helpful. Okay, now I'm going to use my needle and thread and whip stitch down this side. I don't think I'm going to film that because I don't think I can do that very well on camera, but it's just a simple whip stitch all along the edge. Back in a bit. Okay, I changed my mind. I am going to try to film this this stitching part. I'm not used to sewing on camera, so to get started, I just put my needle in. It's very hard to see with the dark yarn and the dark thread, but I'm just going to do a couple of stitches in the beginning to anchor my thread. I'll do a little simple knot. Pull the needle through, and then you find the loop, and then you pull the needle through that. and down. This is not a tutorial because you can't see what I'm doing, but I just wanted to show the action of stitching it down anyway. Now I am not going very slowly. This is my normal sewing speed. I'm not bothering to evenly space them. I'm just trying to catch as much of each of the bits of yarn as possible on the edge. I'm not going all the way through to the front of the garment because I don't really want the thread to show on the front, even though it's going to blend in really easily. So yeah, I was not particularly careful on the first armhole that I stitched down, and it looks fine. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I will see you back when it's time to do the neckline. All right, the vest is, or the steeks are finished. I'm going to give it a quick press from the inside. I think I may have overpressed one of the armholes because the yarn is a bit burnished. It's a bit shiny at one part, so I think I just overpressed. I'm deciding whether or not to give this one more final block after I finish the neckline. So yeah, because I made it cropped, and I forgot that I usually do, or that I should have done some short rows on the front to make the front panel a little bit longer, but whatever, I'll deal with it. So I'm going to give it a quick press to really crisp up these edges. Then off camera, because I am really tired, I'm going to finish the neckband. I think I'm just going to do the smooth edge, the smooth finish option, instead of the overlapping ribbed option. Yeah, so that is just it's an I-cord bind off on there. So that's what I'm doing, and then the next time you see me, I will hopefully have it on. Yes. All right, next time. See you next time. That's how tired I was. I forgot that I was showing you the inside. So you probably wanted to see the outside of the finished steeks. I'm really happy with them. They were easy to do, and the only stress was thinking about it and trying to figure out what the process was like. But it's one of those things where you don't really know until you do it. So yeah, there you go. First steeks complete. Yay! And now it's December me to show you the finished vest. Behold, I did the smooth neckline version, which is the knitted cord bind off, like so. I'd never done one before, and I was not worried. I knit in such a way to get it to properly curl, which meant that I was knitting it really tightly, and so it pulled in. So the next one I do, I will definitely pay attention as to what the rest of the fabric is doing and not just look at the little bit I was working on. So that is what I would do differently next. I would also, like I briefly mentioned in the steaming and steeking, I'm gesturing at my ironing board, which you can't see, but that's why I'm pointing that way. In the steaming and steeking section, I talked about how I should have added some short rows, but I wanted to make the pattern as is. So this is a size 5 with no alterations. And I would definitely, so I am embracing the high-low hem life here. I would definitely make it a little bit longer in the front to accommodate for chest, and I might make the back a little bit shorter. So I might stop it here, do my short rows, and then do my bind off so that the back doesn't hang down too far below the gathering on my waist. But really, those are minor changes I would make. Very easy to adapt. I love the way it fits through the shoulders and through the chest, and it doesn't go in too much around my belly, so everything fits with the silhouette that I wear right now. And yeah, I think that's all I really need to say about it. I love it, and I've worn it a lot this year already, since finishing it in October. And thank you so much for following along with this hour-long project. The video turned into be a whole hour long. So thank you for spending your time with me, and Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.